Hello and welcome to a special edition of Gridiron Gurus. I'm Scott Martin from the Kennebec Journal and the Morning Sentinel alongside sports writer Bill Stewart. We're here at Levitt Area High School where on Saturday the number 1 seed Levitt Hornets will host number 3 Gardner in the Pine Tree Conference Class B championship game. This has become quite a rivalry in the last couple of years, Bill. Levitt's won 3 straight games over Gardner in the last 2 years. What do you see from this matchup in terms of what Gardner might need to do to make that next step to finally beat this Levitt team?
Sure, and really the Hornets come in really kind of had their way with the Tigers over the last couple of years, as you've mentioned, winning last year's PTC B championship game 13-0 in a game that wasn't quite as close as the score seemed to suggest. This year they really had their way with the Tigers at Hope Field. For Gardner to take that next step and just get past the Hornets and win a big game, they're really going to have to rely on a sound run offense led by Alonzo O'Connor. He's just been tremendous this postseason. He's coming off a 200-yard game effort against Hanbin in the semifinals and has really just been the key to this team's offense. And of course, for him to get going, the Tigers are going to have to win the battle up front. There's just no other way around this one.
They're physical on both sides of the ball. I mean, Connor's a good running back, but we just got to focus on being just as physical, if not more physical, and doing our assignments, taking care of our square.
Personnel-wise, this is a different Levitt team than we saw last year play on this same field in the PTC Final on a rainy, cold Saturday afternoon. They've graduated Josh Strickland, their high-powered running back, and Eric Thies, a really good quarterback. How different is this team, and who are some of the key performers offensively for this team?
Sure, yeah, this is a much different Levitt team. They still do some things the same, but their whole overall package of things is much different from last year. Last year they could really spread the field. They were a pass-happy team. That, they could run it, they could throw it. They really just could utilize all aspects of the field. This year they come in a little bit more of a running team, not really what we're accustomed to seeing with Levitt, but at quarterback is Jordan Hersom. He has just been phenomenal this season, and he's a threat to throw, but really his biggest asset is his ability to run the football, and he can get to the outside, he can go up the middle. He's just a tough football player, and certainly he's been a big reason for why Levitt is undefeated here and riding the state's longest winning streak at 22 games.
I wouldn't say much different, but last year I think they were a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger up front especially, and they had, an outstanding running back, but they still have weapons. Obviously they've got their quarterback, he's a great athlete, and they still have some good linemen. So some of our younger guys that we've got playing defensive line have really got to step up and play big for us.
Well, Jake O'Latin has had a terrific season as well, and Levitt coach Mike Hathaway said, hey, we don't have a problem spreading the ball around, and if running the football is what's going to get it done, that's just what we'll do.
Yeah, O'Latin had 206 yards in that first game, a 34-13 loss earlier in the regular season. Levitt beat Gardner 34-13, and Hersom rushed for 126 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game.
They're definitely, we knew they were a physical team and stuff, and they're very physical, and I don't think we came out the first half, we played them tough, and I think we just kind of let our guard down. So we just didn't play a full game, just like we did the first half.
Alonzo O'Connor obviously has had a great season for Gardner this year, 30 touchdowns, approaching 2,000 yards rushing. How key is it for the Tigers to get a big game from Connor on Saturday?
Oh, it goes without saying almost. He is the key to what the Tigers do, and they're going to need a big game from him. And that's pretty much what he's been doing when asked to provide a real big game. He's been able to step up and do that.
You got to defeat blocks and you got to tackle well. I don't think there's any special scheme you can come up with or anything like that. I think it's more about getting a lot of guys around the football and not letting him get into the second and third level of your defense very often. And if you can do that and you can tackle and wrap him up, you're not going to stop him, but you can slow him down and limit his big plays.
Gardner and Levitt will face off in the PTC B Final at 4 p.m. at Levitt Area High School. For Bill Stewart, I'm Scott Martin, and thank you for joining us.